Well, round 2 is in the books as we gear up for round 3 coming up in the Denton Engineering Cup this weekend. Tony Delaney joins me. Tone, we had a bit of rain on the weekend. It's always good to see, but not when it's footy time.
No, Pete, and it wasn't just a bit of rain, mate. It was a deluge of rain right across the grounds around the Tui's Newcastle Rugby League. And, Pete, as we know, it has affected 2 Denton Engineering Cup matches. Of course, Macquarie and the Northern Hawks, that one was due to get underway on Sunday. That one obviously called off very early. And after 5 grades of rugby, 6 actually, including the women's, on there at Merewether Carlton at Townsend Oval, that won't be in use again for about another 6 months, I reckon, after what I've seen previously. And South Newcastle Central, that one, of course, being postponed to this Sunday coming up, Pete, of course, which will be our audio call as well, doubling up.
Yeah, exactly, mate. We've got a busy week coming up.
Certainly do, Pete. Obviously, we'll be out there at the St John Oval on Anzac Day in what proves to be obviously a very emotional day of rugby league, and we'll be coming to you from 1:30pm with the pre-game show, and we'll be taking in, of course, your last post and the ode, a really fantastic initiative. I've spoken to Andrew Blackwell from the Central Newcastle Club, and they're really going all out there on Anzac Day. So congratulations to the Butcher Boys and obviously their recognition of such a special day for all Australia.
Well, coming up on today's program, Tone, we're going to go down to the Entrance Tigers and have a chat to our great mate, Jamie Forbes.
Yes, mate, the Tigers, a great win on the weekend, overcoming Wyong 6-0 in the Central Coast Derby in very, very wet conditions down there at Morrie Broon. A jubilant dressing room, I believe, was the case there post-game. 6-0, Pete, one of those great gritty wins, and one no doubt that will be etching the history books for Tigers fans for years to come.
We'll find out what's happening at the Maitland Pickers with Sam Anderson.
Yes, mate, Sam Anderson, the co-captain of the Maitland Pickers, and after their 20 points to nil victory over the Curry Bulldogs, and they didn't do it all easy. Maitland just having a look at the tape, but another good win for them. And of course, Pete, the defending premiers now go 2 from 2.
Bradley Murray from Lakes United. I wonder what's on Bradley's mind today.
I don't really care, Pete. I'd speak to him every day, and I'm going to have to speak to him again here on the program. Obviously, Lakes United scratching through with a 12-all draw against Western Suburbs in, Pete, what can only be described as horrendous conditions down there at the Carl Oval. So both sides getting a point each. And we'll check in with Brad and see what's happening, all things Lakes United.
And, of course, that game was Jack Kelly's 100.
Certainly was, Pete. Obviously not probably the way that Jack would love to celebrate it, mate. I know how also he's pretty big on his hair too, Jack, so the wet wouldn't have enjoyed that. But, mate, he did have a great moment in the sheds there with his family when he was presented with his jersey by his family, and also Lakes United legend Paul Jeffries, who also joined us as well.
And Tone, around the corner, the Oporto Women's Premiership is on our doorstep.
Yes, only a few weeks away, Pete. We're going to catch up with former Central Newcastle and now Lakes United prop forward Ebony Woodcock's going to join us, Pete, and talk all things Oporto Women's Premiership.
Big show, Tone.
Looking forward to it, Pete. Let's rip in.
Okay, let's go through round 2 of the Denton Engineering Cup. Lakes United 12, Western Suburbs 12, our first draw of the season.
Yeah, Pete, game of 2 halves this one. I thought Western Suburbs were really easily in control in that first half. Just played the better conditions. I thought the difference in the first half was the kicking game of their veteran halfback, Luke Walsh. They just probably did things a little bit better. Lakes United completing around about the 68% mark. In the second half, it was a slightly different story, though. Lakes United seem to be becoming a second half team, Pete, just from what I've seen in the last couple of weeks. And they're able to get home. Obviously, that late try to Steve Weiss converted from the touchline to Jack Kelly to make it 12 points all. Dylan Pithian did have a shot at field goal, but he looked like a grubber, to be honest with you. Peter, he couldn't quite get the purchase on the ball given the conditions. So both teams will go away with a point in that one.
And the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers, Tone, 20, overcame Curry 0. Now, Brock Lamb scored 12 individual points in that 20-point margin.
Yes, Pete, did he ring you and tell you to say that, did he? Or
yeah, Lamb.
No, but
how good's he going?
Yeah, another good performance from Brock Lamb too, but I was impressed that, though, look, I thought Mitchell Cullen played really well, Pete, and in a very, very important game for him, obviously, up against his old club. And it was the first time I do believe he's actually played against Curry, so we would have been very happy to get that one out of the way. We're seeing I'm not going to say a slow start, Pete, from Maitland. Obviously, 20 points to 10 last week, the previous week against the Northern Hawks, now 20-0 against Curry. What we are seeing from Pete, though, is that consistency that they're known for. And look, I just think that we'll probably, Maitland again, there's just sort of, at the end of the day, Pete, they're 2 from 2 leading into the season. They're going to continue to threaten sides. And they're going to be up for it again this weekend at Harker Oval as they tackle Western Suburbs on Old Boys Day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Curry, they didn't get on the scoreboard, Tone, but they really gave it to them in certain stages of that match.
Yeah, they did, Pete. Just a couple of last passes going to ground and things like that. They did look to create a few opportunities, and I think one of the keys for Curry and their coach, Rip Taylor, is just not trying to force the issue at the moment. Just getting in there, keep just playing a bit more consistent football, and sometimes just that extra pass, Pete.
Depth was your concern with Curry, but when you look at their first grade side on paper, it is fairly strong.
Yeah, it's a very strong side, Pete, but again, if you look across even the rosters of Macquarie, your Lakes United, Central Newcastle, they're all very strong top 17, Pete, absolutely. It's when you start to get that 24th, 25th, 26th member of the roster, that you start to see problems there, and that's one of the great things that Maitland have had. They've had great depth within their two grades as well. We've seen many players come up and down between the two grades. And, I just think that they're probably best suited for depth-wise. Long's probably in a similar position as well. I think that, their coach, Mitch Winch, would probably be very disappointed so far with their start this season.
Yeah, speaking of Wyong, they went down to the Entrance Tigers by 6 points to 0. The only try scorer for the Entrance Tigers was their fullback in Lou Geary.
Yeah, Pete, this was a game played on grit. It was just played on game management, and I thought that realistically, out of that, I thought Blake Austin, just looking at the tape this morning, Pete, was outstanding for them. Really controlled the game with his kicking game. Great game management as well. Some good set starters there too from Mal Utah, mate, who continues to improve with age. And also I thought, for a long period of time that Miles Leitavelli, Pete, he was outstanding for them as well, just on that edge.
Yeah, and I'm getting good reports that David Fafita played a solid game as well.
Yeah, mate. Dave was solid without being spectacular, Pete. I think we're still yet to see the best of Dave. And obviously, maybe just running himself into a bit of form, Dave, being one of the bigger players in the side. And hopefully we'll see his best football is still in front of him in the Denton Engineering Cup.
Our washout game, Macquarie and the Northern Hawks. And the other game that was washed out on the weekend was at Townsend Oval between South Newcastle and Central. Both of those games now rescheduled for Sunday.
Yes, Pete. We'll be out there on Sunday, of course, calling South Newcastle, taking on the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys in that one. And Pete, that shapes up to be a big clash, that one, Pete. Both sides are obviously coming off that Anzac round, so you're obviously going to see Central with a physical encounter against Macquarie and South's up against Curry, Pete. So not an ideal time for those teams to be backing up, but look, that's the way the liquor crumbles, Pete. But realistically, if you're a South Newcastle or Central fan, it's a real feast of football coming up for you this week.
So, Tone, how do you manage that going from Anzac Day into Sunday? I mean, obviously there's things in place, but that's a real hard backup plan, isn't it?
Oh, look, it is, Pete. I think that probably what they'll do is the staff will probably look at the Friday morning as maybe looking at that potentially into some ice bath, maybe a sauna. The players might go there for a very light run on the Saturday, maybe just have a look at the film of the last game, maybe do a quick preview leading to the Sunday game. So I'm expecting to see a Saturday morning session probably on Townsend from the Lions, for example, and no doubt Bobcat will be making his way through the tape. I think, though, Pete, you'll just find that a lot of those parameters around the South Central game, for example, they would have identified some of those key targets for Central, obviously looking at Radzovic in the halves, obviously making sure that you're locking up, the middle there with the likes of Nick Ritter and those guys as well. Cody Brown off interchange is very strong for Central. So, and obviously, don't kick the ball to bloody Spider Anderson is probably the other message that no doubt Bobcat will be probably getting through to his players as well, mate. So they've obviously done the preview for that, Pete, but they'll be interested to see how Central will perform on Anzac Day as well. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, before we go to our first break, Tone, last week we launched a segment, Tony's Whinge of the Week.
Yes, Pete.
How do you think it went?
Well, I just noticed in post-production that you've stitched me up again, Peter, but that's all right, mate, because it is a very, very long season and your time will come.
You mean this?
Yes.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit like me, Pete, but look, mate, I'm going to whinge, Pete, here this week. I'm going to whinge a little bit about the battle of the sexes here, Pete.
Okay.
Now, obviously there's a lot of different bodies and a lot of moving parts here, etc. I'm going to speak here to some extent on behalf of the players. Now, the Aporto Women's Premiership, Pete, does not kick off until Saturday the 4th of May. That's round one, West Central, Raymond Terrace Wong, and there's 3 buys, Maitland, South, Lakes United. Right. Those girls have only been advanced to that draw in 2 weeks' time. These ladies, Pete, they work part-time roles, they work full-time roles, some are mothers, etc. They've been waiting months for this draw to come out. Why has it taken this long, for starters? Why has it taken that long? And secondly, some clubs haven't even had a trial yet, Pete.
Okay.
So I believe the likes of, let me have a look here, I don't think Raymond Terrace have trialled, I don't think Central Newcastle have trialled just yet. So Pete, we're going to put the women on the biggest stage, launching the biggest game. I think that they're going to be prioritised a little bit more in 2025, and I know that some of the women feel that way, not just from my club, but other clubs as well. And I'd like to see, obviously, a little bit more action there from the powers that be in regards to that, Pete, because if we're going to have women playing the premier level of the game, they should be treated the same as the male athletes. And that Denton Engineering Cup tour, Peter, has been out, since January. So the fastest growing segment in the game locally. Obviously, I've had my time in the women's space as well there, and our club, Pete, will be fielding both the first and reserve grade, the only club to do so that I'm aware of so far, in both the Community Rugby League and the Oporto Women's Premiership. And look at, in regards to the rosters, Pete, I mean, you're going to have a great side there at Maitland. I obviously had a chance to have a look at them last weekend. South Newcastle on the improve. Wyong will always well prepared. Raymond Terrace grand finalist last year. Central, new coach there. They're trying to improve their things out there. So I only see the competition becoming stronger and stronger, and really seeing that local pathway, Pete, obviously into things like the Newcastle Knights, Harvey Norman and the NRLW and that sort of stuff. I know how much work Ian Burke has done in there in the past. Ronnie Griffiths and people like Mark Wilton as well. Probably going to see a lot more, coaching influence come into the games, be able to look at opposition prep and things like that. So
when you say technology, how does it work for the people that don't subscribe?
Yeah, so Pete, basically coaches will look at film and they'll put it through a program, whether it be Grover or whether it be League Analyzer, and it'll give you all the numbers on each particular individual player.
Yeah, right.
But also just looking at different shapes that different coaches might use as well. For example, there'll be certain people, let's say that Lakes are playing central, be able to identify certain people that can't tackle off their left shoulder and things like that, who's poor on kick defusals, those sorts of things as well. And they're things that can come into a game plan, just like we would in the Denton Cup level as well, Pete. But at the end of the day, it's great to have the post-game technology, but if you out-compete on the day, you're going to win those football matches.
Well, on the weekend, Tone, the Entrance Tigers too good in the local derby against the Wyong Roos by 6 points to 0. And we've got the coach on the line right now, Jamie Forbes. G'day, mate.
Hey, boys. How are you?
Good, mate. What are you up to? How you been?
Yeah, good. Yeah, mate, it's certainly there's no love lost between the two sides, but, beating them at their home ground on Old Boys Day especially, and the Border Day was very satisfying. But like the two sides from the Central Coast and the Newcastle competition, it'd be good to see both of us do well. So there's a bit of a mixed feeling, probably for the first time in my life.
Yeah, mate, Forbes, I've heard that long shared rivalry has been an argument about which of these clubs got the most money. Is that right?
Well, mate, there's no arguing there. That's the out win there with the Mighty Roos, but it's hard because there is a bit of a jealousy thing up here on the coast with from other football clubs. But they were the pioneers. They were the ones that took the risk 30 odd years ago, and now up and down 1,000 clubs. So.
Yeah, they're definitely reaping the rewards, mate, but they're great supporters. My understanding is that the Wyong Rugby League Club Group actually sponsor every individual team on the Central Coast as well, just to keep that competition alive locally.
Mate, they do a fair bit for each club. I don't know so much about the entrance.
Yeah.
But if they want to give us some money, mate, we're happy to take it. But I don't know. Yeah, mate, they are. And I suppose, I know it's in our constitution to promote rugby league on the Central Coast. I dare say I'd imagine the same for them. And while there is a bit of jealousy from a lot of other clubs, once again, mate, it's one of those things. They got off their bums and went and done it and took the risk. And as you said, Pete, they're rewards.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Now, turning our attention back to Saturday, Forbesy, obviously, waking up, seeing the weather, how it was, the build-up to the game. Mate, what changed for you guys just with your approach? Obviously, the Entrance always played a style that's sort of dominant through the middle, but you do play with a fair bit of width, mate. Did you change things up much, obviously, going into that one?
Well, mate, it was a funny situation because I woke up to a message saying rugby league's off at Boyle, but so that was only the local league. Obviously, they said they were going to make a call on 19s and Denton Cup later in the day, or later in the morning. So it was a really weird one because, mate, it was torrential down here on the coast, so I'm not too sure how it was up there. But then when we got to go ahead, we didn't plan. We didn't have to change too much, mate. Seriously, while it was satisfying to get the win last week, once we done our stats and sat down and had a look at the video, I think we completed it at 58% there in the second half against play.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, mate, it doesn't matter whether it's wet or dry. That's still not good enough. So we knew what we had to do. We're obviously recruited very well. It's no secret.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're confident in what we can do with the ball. The scoreline on the weekend probably well, I didn't have the chance to reflect an attacking scoreline, but we know, mate, if we hold the ball in dry conditions, we can put points on most teams. So, like I said, it didn't change too much, mate. That was our main focus, hold the friggin' ball.
Well, you're with Blake Austin, mate. Tell us how you actually got him to the club. I mean, he was doing great things over in England, wasn't he? Was he just after a change and he wanted to come home?
Suitcases of money, Pete. Suitcases of money.
Oh. He must have had a chat to Colin Woods, has he?
He said, Uncle Nick, I've got to ring Uncle Colin and see if it's all right.
Uncle Col?
Yep. No, well, mate, he obviously is good mates with Dave Feeder.
Yep.
So Dave handed him my number when he was over in England, and Blake actually reached out through WhatsApp and just said, hey, young mate, this is what I'm looking for and what I'd like to do family-wise and career-wise. So, of course, I said, yes, mate, I'll promise you the world, but give me a little bit of time to get some things happening. And mate, luckily enough, to his word, he said, mate, if you can do those things, I won't even talk to an NRL club. I won't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
He said, it's time for me and my family to find a place to live and settle down, and I'm really interested in living on the coast. So I was running around like a madman doing open houses.
Well, mate, we've heard the reports story of the open houses on FaceTime, Forbesy, and you walk through the house with only your head. And, mate, I couldn't think of anything worse to look at than your head for a whole 10 minutes, mate. He said he did not see one part of that open house. Mate, there's something about head coaches and technology, mate. Ian Burke's the same. You can't work a DVD player. It's unbelievable. Mate, all the best to you guys out there as Tigers, and we'll catch up with you very soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the support.
Good on you, Jamie.
Cheers,
Jamie Forbes there, the coach of the Entrance Tigers. He's just a great sport, isn't he?
He's a great character, Pete. And look, a lot of people and a lot of very astute judges within the game will tell you that Jamie Forbes is probably one of the best players to actually never play in the National Rugby League. I know we went very close to the Newcastle Knights there, and I think they opted for another player who was never heard of again, to be perfectly honest with you. So another one the Knights might have got wrong there. But, mate, he's a wonderful servant to the game. He's an ornament to the game down the Central Coast, Pete. He's been a mainstay of that Tigers club for such a long period of time.
Well, let's head out to Lakes United, Tone, and we've got the assistant coach on the line, Bradley Murray. G'day, Brad.
Hey, Tone. How are we?
Good, mate. What are you up to today? We need to know.
Mate, just knocked off work, heading to some recovery off to the EMF sauna. 40 minutes in the sauna. Yeah.
Yeah, right, mate. I heard last year about this filming segment. I mean, has that got any legs in 2024? Do you still want to do it?
Yeah, we're still looking for a sponsor and someone to take over the insurance.
There you go, Tone.
Exactly. The other thing that we need to get it really happening, Pete, is the cooperation of Ian Burke, and he's very resistant to the sauna segment, isn't he, Bradley?
Well, mate, Ian keeps talking about how he can, what did he say, de-stress this year. And we've thought potentially a sauna segment would do that, and he has given it no extra thought. Yeah,
it's a disappointing for me. I mean, we continue to give him avenues to be able to wind back and relax with us, but he just don't take them up, unfortunately. So, maybe after another couple of weeks, mate, another couple of tough games, he might take it on board.
Maybe he doesn't like the white robe. I mean, you might have to give him a blue robe.
No, there'll be no robes, Pete.
No
It'll
robes.
Just be in the budgies, mate. Just
dude.
What the fans want to see, Pete.
We've got the beautiful new Budgies from Budgie Club, one of our great sponsors at Lakes United.
They are, yes, exactly. And I'd love to see him join us in those, mate. I think he might be just working on just getting a little bit more lifting, a little bit more shape about him, mate, before he wants to jump on the segment potentially, because Bradley is an absolute specimen. 12-point saw yesterday, mate, out at Carl Oval, Saturday rather, mate, an absolute deluge. Mate, how did you see it?
Yeah, it was a pretty ordinary day to footy, Tone, but I thought both teams handled the conditions pretty well, considering I thought obviously West handled the conditions better than us in the first half, and we obviously turned the screws in the second half. So hard to really judge, but I thought both teams, considering what they had to play and how they had to play, both performed strongly.
Now, Brad, obviously a very well-accomplished halfback within the game here. 3 premierships, of course, in your time in the 2 years Newcastle Rugby League. Mate, just with the kicking game and those sort of conditions, mate, what are the keys to that, obviously, just from that game management perspective?
Well, I think you see, obviously, how Luke Walsh does it, mate. It doesn't matter where you are. If you get a quick play the ball and field position, you kick when you can. I don't think you need to wait till the last tackle. And obviously, Walsh, you done that really well in the first half. But then I thought Jack and Dill done that really well in the second half. So, the only way to complete high, in my opinion, in wet weather football is to kick early.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously, just looking at the result itself, mate, 12 points all, down 12-0 at half-time, around about, yet again, that 60-minute mark, the Seagulls start to kick in. What's the mindset there, Pete? Brad, rather, with the players, do you think? I mean, it just seems to be that Lakes United becoming very much a second-half team, which is great because we've seen them sort of fall off in earlier periods of the second half in previous seasons. Mate, how do we improve our starts?
If you've got the answer, I'd like you to bring the training out tomorrow night.
Well, I mean...
in all honesty, mate, I think it's our application at times is poor. I don't think they are ball handling errors, but again, it's just those attention to detail things. If you look at some of the what you would say unforced errors are not really unforced; they're just poor errors by the person at the time. So it's not overly unforced into a tackle. It's getting up and playing the football correctly. Things like that, mate, that they put pressure on early. And I just also think that we need to have a bit of a mindset on how to build out a game. Be happy to grind early, complete high, because it's shown in the last 2 weeks that we're definitely fit enough and gritty enough to pull ourselves back. But it's going to be a long year, particularly for Coach Burke if we're down 12-0, 18-0 at half time and fight our way back in the second half.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Now, obviously, game really, really very much played through the middle yesterday. Mate, I thought Jabel Tolafoa was probably among our best, though, mate. The other guy that also impressed me, who's new to the club, was Noah Latui, mate. I thought he acquitted himself very well. Yeah,
Noah and Jabel have been very good for us coming back from the Knights. And I don't want to give him too much of a rap, Tone, because I'm sure Ronnie is a huge listener of the podcast. And, look, as much as we want to see them guys into the Knights, they're doing a very good job for us at the moment.
Yeah, well, hands off Ronnie, mate. You can hear it right. You can ring me and I'll tell him to go away. But, mate, and obviously for Western Suburbs, mate, like you said, mate, I thought Luke Walsh, he really just kept them in the field position where Lakes United were always working out their own end. But, mate, look, I thought, realistically for Western Suburbs, they really had to grind through that game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, mate. They did. Look, as I said, two pretty good sides in horrendous conditions. I would have liked to see it on a dry track, particularly with, Walsh and Smith in the halves, Kelly and Tithian, some really good outside backs. It would have been a really good day for rugby league, but unfortunately the weather didn't persist and we had to play in a bog track. I'd just like to give the curator of the ground a massive rap, Tone. The pitch was in great nick considering the awful conditions.
Well, mate, I don't think it'll be in great nick for quite some time. I believe we're going to have to find an alternative venue for training tomorrow night. Now, look, obviously turning attention ahead, two major games you want to speak about before we speak about the Sunday game against Wyong, Bradley, is that, mate, you'll be joining us in commentary on Anzac Day, 2 o'clock kick-off, pre-game show from 1:30 for Central Newcastle versus Macquarie, mate. A very special day for rugby league, Brad.
Mate, very special day. We never got the opportunity to play in the Newcastle Rugby League on Anzac Day, but I think it's an honour. Anytime you get to, I guess, pay your respects and then go and play with your mates on such a special day, it's not going to be able to get yourself up for that, is it?
In all honesty, Brad, but for those that haven't, previously done it, how did you find it? Just going straight into commentary from coaching, it's probably a little bit different for you.
No, it's like winning grand finals, Tone. Kick long.
Mate, can you let me know what's that like? What's that like, mate? I don't know. I need something. Yeah, for sure.
I can do a lot of things, Tony, but not deliver you a personal grand final.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Hey, Brad, we don't have a commentary box at Central, apparently, according to
we'll actually
MC
be sidelined.
Soprano.
We'll be sidelined on the table, mate. We'll also be taking in the pre-game show the last post in the ode, mate.
So we're old school, Tone.
Here we are, old school, mate. So
what happens if it rains?
Well, sometimes you got to strip it back in rugby league, Ben, and that's what we'll do on Thursday.
There you go.
Speaking of stripping and Brad, we'll let you get to your sauna, sir, up to about 63 degrees, and I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday night, mate.
Appreciate the phone call, man. Enjoy the podcast.
Yep, you enjoyed the photo that we've put together to publicise your second commentary stint, mate, coming out on Wednesday night.
Yeah, well,
Hey, Bradley, I've got nothing to do with the photograph that is coming out on Wednesday.
that's indemnity. He's got everything to do with it. He even chose it. So, excuse me.
Someone please send me the itinerary prior, please.
Okay, mate. All right, Brad. Well, I'll catch up with your train on Tuesday, mate. Look forward to seeing you out there on Thursday at the St John Oval, of course. The pre-game show from 1:30, kick-off from 2 o'clock for the St John Oval, Central and Macquarie. And thank you, Brad Murray.
Bye for now.
Ta-ta. Bradley Murray, what a character. Don't we have some great characters in our game?
Oh, he's one of the great characters, mate, but also a very, very astute coach in his own right there at Lakes United, Pete. He's doing some wonderful things, both in attack and defence with the club. And, mate, he's one of those guys that makes, the game being worth around, mate. Bradley definitely brings a different light and different perspective on the game. So he's done some great things out there at Lakes United.
Oh, mate, talk about, he's just committed. I mean, how many times did he contact us in the off-season with audition tapes to be the third member of the commentary team?
Yes, Pete, look, it was
we must have got about 30 tapes.
Yeah, it certainly was, Pete. Like, I think obviously there's an element of desperation there to Bradley joining the commentary team. And no. He's a wonderful guy, mate.
He's like Piggy Riddell, Mark Riddell on the continuous call team. He just knows where to go. I think we need to see him more. We need to hear him more.
We do, mate. But look, obviously his insight into the game, though, Pete, is second to none. In all honesty, he's one of the when he was playing, Pete, he was probably known as one of the great game managers in the game, and he brings that insight to our players. And I think that. You can see Bradley break down a game, and obviously being with him sideline on the interchange bench, and see him, see things develop before they happen, and that's the insight of a great half, mate. And there's no wonder that he's got the 3 premierships behind him in the Tui's Newcastle Rugby League.
Does he want to be a first grade coach?
Pete, I think he's a little bit. Obviously, his personal life very busy as well. His wife's very busy with his business, etc.
Yeah.
But Pete, I think he's the sort of guy that likes to enjoy being around it, but doesn't want the pressure of being a head coach role. Maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But I think he's just there to really just stick it to me and Bubba, to be perfectly honest with you.
And he does it so well.
He does, mate. He does. He's one of the greats.
On that note, it's time for Tui's. Tui's, where would we be without Tui's? And also the Denton family. I mean, it's great to have their involvement back, of course, named after the Denton Engineering Cup, Tone.
Yeah, certainly, Pete. Obviously, great major sponsors of the competition on board once again for season 2024. And, Pete, just wonderful supporters of the game.
More than just a game. Rugby League is the heart and soul of our Hunter region. We're True Blue legacies.
Start young!
Founded in 1910, Newcastle Rugby League continues to grow and shape the game into what it is today. Beyond the field, it's the game that connects us all. From muddy fields to modern stadiums. We're a region that's big on footy and a region ready to evolve. Now, it's time for a new era to emerge. Presenting Newcastle Rugby League.
URL.
Connected through community.
Connected through staff.
Connected through volunteers.
Connected through players. Where the history and the love for rugby league connects us all. URL, more than a footy comp, a true blue community.
Alrighty, well, we're about to kick off the Oporto Women's Premiership in 2024 in the Newcastle Rugby League, and Ebony Woodcock will be running around for the Lakes United Seagulls, Tone.
She will be, Pete. Obviously, the big off signing from the Central Newcastle Butcher Birds from season 2023. And she joins us on the line now. Good afternoon, Ebony.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Fantastic. And, mate, obviously, 4th of May competition kick-off not too far away now in the Oporto Women's Premiership. Different concept this year, mate. Obviously, we've got 7 teams contesting for it. And, mate, a change of club for you in the off-season.
Yeah, it's been really good seeing the progress in Women's Rugby League in the Hunter, and especially with this comp sort of kicking off now this year, it's great to see some sponsors on board and running in line with the men's. Yeah, it's really, really exciting.
Ebony, tell us a little bit about your background. Have you played a lot of rugby or touch footy? What's your story?
I actually was one of the ones that didn't get to really play too much touch or anything growing up. I was a netball girl, and then come in at the right time, I suppose. Women's Rugby League was blowing up, and joined the school team and kind of ran from there, and started playing, I think, outside of school when I was about 14, and just loved it and made the switch over. Why do you think you love rugby league so much? Oh, I think I wasn't really built for netball. I'm a bit built like a front rower, so it was kind of just meant to be in the end.
Yeah, I'm not built for netball either, Pete.
Exactly. Well, it's it's been probably an interesting big pre-season, and all of a sudden now it's game on in a few weeks' time. What are you looking forward to, this year from your point of view?
I think I'm just excited to have a hit out again with a new team. It's been really, really good building over at Lakes this year. I'm really excited, and obviously just to come up against some really good competition in the other teams. Like I said before, the competition is just growing, and the standard of players and experience is leveling up as well. So it's going to be a really good competition just to get out there and build on the new skills and versus really, really strong teams.
Why Lakes, Ebony?
I had a few girls out there that I've played with in other teams and other competitions, and I just felt like it was time personally for a bit of a change, and it was the next closest club to me, and I've heard all great things, so I thought I'd just pop out and see how it went.
And Ebony, yourself, mate, obviously you had an opportunity to get out there and see the trial on the weekend. Obviously, Maitland overcoming Lakes United, 24 points to 16 over 4 20-minute quarters. Mate, obviously you probably would have been very impressed with the Maitland side. Yeah,
very much so. There's a few big names out there and also a few new girls out there that really impressed as well. They look strong across the field. So, yeah, they're definitely looking really strong to be strong all comp, and yeah, it should be really good to get out there. I think we're versing them in our first game, so it'll be good to see how both us and them take it to another level in proper competition.
Now, so far, just in your time at Lakes United, just on field before we get to the off-field stuff, Ebony, who's impressed you so far from Lakes United? Just from, obviously you're coming from a very different viewpoint from aiming up against them last year to now being your teammates with these girls. Who have you been impressed by out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of, all of the girls have impressed me, off-field and on-field. There's just a good bunch of girls out there. Obviously, Tassie Lushwitz, she's just a freak. Her communication and eyes up footy is amazing. The new girls that have come across from touch that have never played before, the 3 Spain girls and Sarah Stewart are just amazing coming across to this new sort of game that they haven't played before, and they've just took it in their stride and have just amazed me in the trial games, as well as Tyler Brown. Yeah, she's been outstanding, mate. Tyler, she should be running the last 400 at Randwick, Pete. You wouldn't see speed like it, to be perfectly honest with you. But, mate, I thought I was very impressed with one of the edge forwards for you on the weekend, Diane Gant, mate. I thought she was outstanding for you. Yeah, she is massive. She just gives it her all. Hey, there is no stopping Sauce when she gets in front of a line of defence. So, yeah, she's just unreal. For sure.
Ebony, we always say, why do you think Lakes will go all the way this year?
Yeah, I just feel like I've seen against versing them last year, very talented ball skill-wise, and they have a lot of, good communication out there, but I think the fitness that has been put in place across the club this year with Emma Jones has just levelled us up again this year, and I think, that's once everything all comes together and we all gel together after the first few games, I reckon we should be able to go all the way.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm very happy to hear that, obviously, Pete, in my role. But now, just obviously for yourself, Ebony, a bit of a disrupted pre-season for you with injury. And look, I'm going to say this, Pete, to yourself, mate, but to our listeners, I haven't seen a harder worker in the pre-season for Lakes United than Ebony Woodcock. The session had finished, and Ebony be back there for the next 20, 30 minutes after training, continue to do extras. I caught her up with her last Wednesday night. She was there doing extras again after she just finished coaching a session with the under-15 women's tackle, mate. So she's had a massive influence on culture in our club and work ethic as well, and I think she probably sets a standard for front rowers there. But, mate, at the moment, you've copped of an injury, I believe.
Yeah, I have, unfortunately. It's been a bit of a rocky pre-season, but I was glad to get out there in the trial last week and copped a bit of a knock in the elbow and didn't think much of it, but apparently, according to the medical team, it's a little bit more serious than I thought. So I'll just see what they say there and rest it up and hopefully get back on the field for round 1.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously, coming up, I think it might be the 2nd of June, you'll be facing off against your old team, Central Newcastle. Now, mate, which one of your mates out there you're most looking forward to running into?
Obviously, little monster out there. She's amazing on the field too. She has a bit of chat and a bit of banter, so that'll be great. But looking forward to running into Ruby Flaherty. It should be a good contest against 2 front rowers out there, so it'll be good. Yeah,
maybe a few text messages being exchanged once this interview goes to air, potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
Fantastic, mate. Now, looking just on the Porto Women's Premiership, obviously, the sides contesting, in 2024, Western Suburbs, Central Newcastle, Raymond Terrace, Wyong, the South Newcastle Lions, Maitland and Lakes United. If you had to pick a top 3, Ebony, just based off your own knowledge, who would you probably put there in your top 3?
Oh, I'm going to say Lakes, of course. Be rude not to.
I bloody hope so.
Seeing Maitland on the weekend and just seeing their lineup and how they played together, I'd probably put them up there as well.
Yep.
And I want to say Wyong. I just feel like they have something down on the Central Coast that they've been working on for a few years, and every time I've played them, it's been really, really strong. So I'm sure that, again, this year they'll come back even better like they do every year.
Fantastic. And, mate, let me ask you this just before you go, just obviously going away here. Mate, which one of your teammates would you not share a house with? If you had to pick one, which one would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh,
I can think about 10 of them.
Yeah, I'd go Cody Campbell. She's a bit of a pest.
Oh, but she's a good cook, though.
Oh, yeah, she is, but she's a bit of a pest. I helped her move house on the weekend, actually, and talked me ear off all the time.
Fantastic. And, mate, look, Cardi out there, obviously, it was one of the great things about our senior ladies, Pete. She's also out there helping coach some of the junior girls at Lakes United as well, so generational down there, so fantastic. Well, mate, look, I really enjoyed having you so far at the club, mate. You're one of the great hard workers in the team, and we look forward to catching up with you throughout the season.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Ebony Woodcock, go well. We'll look forward to having a chat with you throughout the year, mate.
Thank you very much.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, certainly, mate. Ebony's one of the greats out there at Lakes United, mate. She's going to do wonderful things out there in season 2024, and I can't wait to see her in action in kick-off of the Porto Women's Premiership.
Big Sam Anderson on the phone right now. G'day, Sam.
Hello, mate. How you going?
Good, mate. You picked up a try on the weekend. How good was that?
Mate, I drove on one of Lamb's grubbers, which is very unlike me. But, yeah, mate, bagged one in the wet, which is good.
There you go, Tone. Sam,
yeah, mate, he's
scoring tries, offloading. What can't he do?
He's doing it all, mate. He's doing it all at the moment. But, mate, Curry, mate, they didn't make it easy for you.
No, mate. They'll be very competitive this year. They're a gritty hit side, mate. In a pretty lacklustre game, they kept coming and coming, mate. They looked there, like I said, 6-0 at half time. They're a lot different than the team we played last year.
Had a chance to have a look at the tape early this morning, mate. Connor Kirkwood, 1,000 hit-ups, mate. He's certainly earning his money up there at the Bulldogs.
Mate, he's having plenty of carries, that's for sure. Which, yeah, I don't know. It's good on him. He wants to keep trucking it up. He definitely copped his medicine with us. He didn't take a backward step, so, mate, good on him.
Mate, how good's Brock Lamb going? I mean, you guys scored 20 points, but he picked up nearly 12 points of those 20.
Mate, he's... Lemmy's good. He's obviously an experienced seasoned professional. Mate, I'm actually personally enjoying playing with Lemmy myself. Lately, I texted him after the game. I got a try off his kick, mate. We set up for the last try together. I mean, really enjoying playing alongside him, and he controlled that game really well with his kicking game, especially.
And, mate, no doubt that the reception committee of the Bulldogs was looking for your two back rowers in Reed, mate, and Mitchy Cullen.
And I don't think either of those blokes will be on Carrie's Christmas card list, that's for sure. Either there, I think everyone at some stage lined up to shots, especially Mitchy. But, mate, he expected that. He expected it, and he copped it. They copped it sweet on the chin, mate.
Yeah, mate, I think you might need an escort into the return match at the Graveyard, no doubt. Mate, one of the guys I was really impressed with at Magic Round for you guys, mate, he was catching balls from the stratosphere, mate. Ethan Parry, mate, he's a great inclusion for you on the wing.
Mate, he's been very handy. With losing Jimmy Bradley and Gary Anderson every now and then to the Knights, we needed to plug one hole, and he stepped right in, mate. He's got a great attitude, and he scored 2 to start Magic Round. That second one where he jumped above the winger, that just shows what he's capable of, mate. He's obviously played NRL at the highest level before, and I think his goal is to get back into the system, and we're more than happy to accommodate that for him.
Yeah, I was surprised to see 90, mate, in the number one jumper, mate. He's Mr. Fix at 90, isn't he? He's sort of a bit of everywhere, isn't he? He can sort of play anywhere in that spine and a bit of 9 as well.
Mate, he jokes around about being a ball playing lock 1 week off our bench, and then he's playing fullback. And you won't see this ball playing lock play fullback, mate. He's very, very versatile, 90, and mate, he can do a job at 6. One, like I said, try him in the middle or on the wing, mate. Like you come on the grand final, scored a try after 1 minute. He's very versatile. He's a handy bloke to have. Yeah,
for sure. Certainly plays above his weight, Luke Knight. But mate, just one of the things we've got to ask is that it's supposed for a lot of teams, a lot of teams vying for premierships. A lot of players may only play 1 or maybe 2 final series and maybe not even a grand final. But mate, in the position you guys are at yourself, how do you just stay up for such a long period of time? Obviously, I know no doubt that Matt Lantry's got a lot to do with that, but just with yourself, mate. I mean, how do you get up knowing that you're the hunted every week? Everyone's coming after you. What's that like? The mental toll of that, Sam.
Oh, mate, there's no doubt about it. It is something you have to physically and mentally get up for every week, because there's no doubt that we are the hunted, and genuinely we are at the top of the list with teams they want to beat. And I guess, mate, you've got to really drive it internally, because we know we're going to go to a lot of away grounds and cop a lot of abuse and a lot of slack, and then that's fine. That actually spurs us on to keep achieving what we have. And, mate, like I think we touched on it before we started the season, we've just got to reset. We celebrate that season. We celebrate winning comps, but you have to reset, because every other team, especially this year, gets stronger and stronger, and you can't just go off what you did last year.
But Pickers TV out there at Maitland, I don't know if it's a setup, but every player that's been asked about who the biggest pest is at Maitland, their response, and it seems to be always put to them by Chad O'Donnell, is Sam Anderson. Is that what's happening there, Sam? I mean, that's we haven't found that on the show, mate. I'm a little bit alarmed by that.
How would you respond to that,
That sounds to me like a Chad O'Donnell setup, that one.
Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. There's no bigger pest in the game than Chad O'Donnell, that's for sure. So, mate, obviously there's something going on. There's some paper bags getting split to blokes before they do that segment of Chad. Yeah. Mate, I can assure you I'm not the biggest pest. If there's no bigger pest in the competition than Chad. I've played against Chad in 2019, and, mate, he was abusing me before I even got on the field about who I was, what I'd done, and, mate, never even met the bloke. So, whatever he wants to say,
exactly. And, mate, I'm a little bit concerned, because you see, every time I've got to travel with Pete in the car on a away game or playing Maitland, he just continues to talk about Chad O'Donnell, lifestyle, performance, etc. I think you might be on a third party there with Chad O'Donnell here, Pete. It's alarming to me that you're always defending him, and we've seen his behaviour, mate. It's unbelievable.
Well, I think Chad's just a great talent. I mean, don't you reckon, Sam? He's also after a job now, if you read his Twitter feed, his Facebook feed, with NBN News. He's going after Adam Murray.
Is that right?
I believe so, mate. What do you reckon?
Well,
Adam's safe?
No, I don't follow what Chad wants to do in work. I'm more focused on Harcourt, Hunter Valley here, and just letting people achieve their goals in selling and buying property, mate.
And there's never been a better time to get in the market, isn't that right, Sam?
Mate, world's strongest market. If I had a house to sell, I'd sell it right now, that's for sure. Give me a call.
Exactly. Right, well, there you go. You got that plug-in, of course. But, mate, with that, he's got this third gym out now, Chad, mate. Every time I go in the dressing room, I follow him around in case a couple of $50 notes fall out of his pocket, Pete.
Oh, mate, it's a great story, though. I mean, all seriousness, where Chad's gone and where he is today, Sam, I mean, it's a credit to him, though, isn't it?
Mate, he works hard. He's very hard work. My wife herself goes to his Thornton Lifestyle Performance, absolutely loves it. mate, it's credit to how hard he works to where he's got his 3 gyms up and running to. And mate, it's enjoyable. The boys, when they can, we all love to go and jump in on the Saturday sessions. Mate, yeah, it's going really well for him, I think, which is great.
And mate, speaking of hardcourts, I noticed you guys head down there sometimes as well, hey?
Mate, we do a team session there. We try and do it once a month, and they didn't look after us there a month ago. We were absolutely spent. It's meant to be a team bonding, but no one said a thing, I can guarantee you, for 45 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, maybe that might be, we get out there, the Newcastle Rugby League commentary team, Pete. I can't imagine you in the gym somehow, Pete. Yeah, for sure. Well, mate, obviously looking forward to this weekend's fixtures, mate, and it doesn't get any easy for you this weekend either.
No, West are they've recruited well and built on what they had last year. Stoney's got them playing tough footy. So, mate, like I think every single team to play this year is recruited and trained really well over the off-season. But looking at them, they'll be big, they'll be physical, and they've obviously got Luke Walsh back there steering the ship. So, mate, it's never easy. Sunday Arvo at West, it'll probably be wet. Let's face it, it'll be probably buggy, so it'll be interesting, probably physical game.
And mate, just a big coincidence, it just happens to be Old Boys Day out there on Sunday as well.
Of course, it does. Like every team we play away has their Old Boys Day when they play us, so that'll be good, mate. A bit more abuse for the leaders.
Fantastic, mate. Well, mate, look, good luck on Sunday out there against Western Suburbs, mate, and we'll catch up with you throughout the year.
No worries, boys. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, Sam. Sam Anderson there from the Maitland Pickers. We'll catch up with Sam, no doubt, throughout the year, Tone.
Yeah, no doubt, mate. One of the, mate, in all due honesty, Pete, we having a bit of a G up there in regards to Chad O'Donnell, mate. Chad O'Donnell, one of the absolute gentlemen of the game, in all honesty. But, mate, you won't find a better guy than Sam Anderson. He's a bit of a... I can't use those sort of words on him, but, mate, he's a bit of a pest on the field, but he doesn't miss you, yeah. Sam. But, mate, he's a wonderful player. And, mate, I think he's, if you any Maitland juniors out there looking for a role model, you won't find a better one than Sam Anderson.
Yeah, on and off the field, sensational.
For sure.
Mate, not just on the football field, but what he does, selling houses, that is a hard gig, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate, absolutely. There's a lot of guys that have tried their hand at that unsuccessfully, Pete, but Sam, has that. And, mate, you just think about his Saturday. Obviously, he's living in the sheds by 1:30, roughly. He's out there doing opens, mate. He's doing deals on the phone. Like post-game, he's on the phone. We've seen him out there closing a few deals over the phone, mate. So
exactly. It's a hard slog.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise, Pete, that especially with the Maitland preparation, they're almost a full-time team, but they're also the guys have also got their 9 to 5s as well, Pete. So, they've really got to mix that in with family and find that work-life balance. But both of those guys in Chad and Sam seem to achieve that, mate. I'm not surprised that they are high achievers both on and off the field.
Indeed, mate. Doing great things in and around the local community. Okay, let's now get into round 3 of the Denton Engineering Premiership and a special day, Anzac Day. Central at 2 o'clock will take on the Macquarie Scorpions, Tone.
Yes, Pete, we'll be out there covering that one, of course. The pre-game show from 1:30 sideline with myself, you, Pete, and, of course, 3-time Premiership winner Brad Murray commentating in that one. Looking forward to the Anzac Service 2 pre-game. We'll obviously carry the last post and the ode. But Central Newcastle taking on Macquarie. Pete, big day out there at Central. I'm just going to give the edge here to the Butcher Boys.
Okay, South will go around against Curry. 2 o'clock on Thursday.
Yeah, very, very fresh South Newcastle. Obviously, Curry have had 2 matches already. Going to be a tight one, this one, Pete, but given that South Newcastle are the home side, probably going to go with South.
5 o'clock up at Cessnock. Cessnock will play the Hawks.
Yeah, I think Cessnock will be way too strong for the Hawks in this one, Pete, although it won't be easy for them. I just feel like Cessnock, mate, they've had that week off, etc. They've had a chance to regather and regroup from their, less than impressive performance against Macquarie in Magic Round, and I think that Harry will have the boys up and they'll win and win comfortably. Sunday afternoon football, Lakes United and Wyong Roos. Yeah, this will be a tough one, Pete. Both teams coming off real bash and barge games, of course. Wyong going down the entrance 6-0. Lakes United gritting out a 12-all draw there at Carl Oval. Toss of the coin this one, job, Pete, and that being the case, I'm just going to go with the home side, maybe by 2 points. Western Suburbs, riddled with a lot of injuries, come up against the red-hot Maitland Pumpkin Pickers. Yeah, they certainly do come up against a red-hot Maitland, Pete. It might be a red-hot scoreline out there unless the Western Suburbs side, rather, can get their act together. Very disappointing, I thought, last week against Lakes United. Probably wasn't their best. They are riddled with injuries, though, Western Suburbs, so I'm tipping a strong Maitland win here at Harker Oval there on Sunday. And also on Sunday, we've got the washout games from round 2. South Newcastle will host the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys. Yeah, so 2 and 1 for us this week, Pete. We'll be out there ourselves, and Matt Moller will be joining us as well from the Western Suburbs Club for South Newcastle and Central. Pete, very difficult to give a tip in this one, obviously, because we haven't seen much of South Newcastle yet. I think if Central are going to get the points against Macquarie, it will be a physical game. South Newcastle, back-to-back games at Townsend Oval. They'd like to make it 2 from 2. I'm probably going to have to just go with the Lions on this one.
What about Macquarie going up against the Northern Hawks?
Pete, this would actually be a great battle, this one on Sunday. I think both teams are sort of, are where they need to be to this extent in the season in regards to just where their development is. Pete, I'm going to tip here, probably a little bit controversial, the Northern Hawks to open their account against the Macquarie Scorpions. That's my tip of the week. Northern Hawks to open up against the Macquarie Scorpions their account for season 2024 with a 6-point win over Macquarie at Lyle Peacock.
You think Dave Dryden might pick up another meat pie?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pete. I hope he does. I'll be cheering for you, Dave.
Yeah. Fantastic. Good old Dave Dryden. Well, what a podcast. We'd like to thank everybody for coming on the program. Ebony Woodcock, what a star.
Mate, she certainly is, mate. A wonderful young lady, obviously, made the switch, needed the change there from Central Newcastle, doing great things now at Lakes United, not just on the field, Pete, but, a great preparation with the training, also helping out coaching the junior girls as well, mate. So she's a great servant to the game, Ebony.
Of course, Ebony will play for Lakes United in the Porto Women's Premiership.
Yes, Pete, looking forward to the Porto Women's Premiership. Kick off not too far away. 2 weeks for most clubs and 3 weeks for Lakes United, Pete, so we'll be out there covering some of the matches as well. People really looking forward to that one.
Jamie Forbes, sensational job today on the podcast.
Oh, he always does. He's one of the great entertainers in the game, Pete, but obviously one of the very astute coaches as well, Pete, and he's always good to have a chat to our mate Forbesy.
Sam Anderson from the Maitland Pickers joined us.
Yes, mate, in the co-captain now role for the Maitland Pickers, and I can't think of anyone better to help lead that club as well as Langers. And, mate, no doubt we'll see a strong showing from Sam coming up this Sunday at the Harker Oval.
And Bradley Murray.
The Knights of Mortal, Pete, both on and off the field, mate. They're probably in the middle of the sauna right now. But, mate, Brad Murray, one of the great characters of the game, one of the great analysts and great game managers, mate. He's going to provide, some great insight to our commentary this Anzac Day.
Yeah, really looking forward to having Brad in the box. I mean, he did an outstanding job last year, didn't he?
Certainly did, Pete.
For Emma Warriors Day, he joined us, and knockout performance.
Yeah, certainly it is, Pete. And, mate, he's very, very good, both the coaching game and he's learning his way through the commentary as well, Pete. And no doubt that he'll give himself a 10 out of 10 rating at full time.
I'm sure he will. How do you think you went today, Tane?
I might have given myself about a 6, actually. Mind you, I'm looking outstanding.
You are. Best dressed in the shed. In the studio, mate. Well, we look forward to Anzac Day, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be on air, as Tone mentioned, 1:30, a big build-up, and we look forward to your company then. We'll see you on the podcast same time next week, Tone.
That's right, Pete, and of course we're going to cover that match on Sunday from the Townsend Oval, South Newcastle taking on the Central Newcastle Butchers.
Big week ahead.
Indeed.
See you then.
See you then, Pete.
So Ernst the Glanville short baller, Butler, he'll score, Butler's in.